On 1 acre, this crop can replace 2 tons of feed and fix more nitrogen than a 50-pound bag of fertilizer, once established, with no irrigation and no reseeding between cuts. It's called pigeon pea, Pigeon, and if you farm anywhere hot or drought-stressed, this plant should be on your radar. In field trials from acre and the Kenyan Agricultural Research Institute, pigeon pea averaged 4.8 tons of biomass per acre under heat, where alfalfa collapsed below 2. Its taproot dives over 5 feet, breaking compaction and pulling nutrients from subsoil strata most grasses never reach. Here's the payoff most people miss. It's a shrub-type legume. Once established, it produces for up to 3 seasons without reseeding, a built-in feed bank for heat and drought. So why isn't every hot climate farmer already growing it? Because most forage systems were designed for temperate zones, and pigeon pea rewrites those assumptions entirely. Alfalfa peaks at 80 degrees. Beyond that, respiration overtakes photosynthesis and nitrogen fixation crashes. Pigeon pea does the reverse. At 95 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, its photosynthetic rate increases and nodulation stays active even under moisture stress. In a 2019 ICRISAT heat stress trial, pigeon pea yielded 5.2 tons dry mass per acre with 21.7% protein and 72% in vitro digestibility. By comparison, alfalfa under identical conditions dropped below 2 tons and 16% protein. Economically, that's a feed margin shift of $300 plus per acre in heat. Farmers using pigeon pea as a rotational forage in India, Kenya, and northern Australia report feed costs down 30 to 40% thanks to reduced grain and fertilizer purchases. In dryland trials, animals grazing pigeon pea paddocks gained weight 18% faster than those on grass legume mixes, with equal or better body condition. It's also resilient. Once the base stems lignify, pigeon pea resprouts from root crowns after cutting or grazing. In the U.S. South, it behaves as a short-lived perennial. In subtropics, it can persist 3 to 4 years. It's not a replacement for temperate systems, a new foundation for regenerative ones in warm zones. Next, we'll break down how those deep roots and microbial partnerships actually rebuild fertility faster than any cover crop you've ever planted. On paper, pigeon pea looks like an underdog. In the field, it punches in alfalfa's weight class. Fresh leaves test between 18 and 24% crude protein, pods and mature seeds between 13 and 16%, with total digestible nutrients around 60 to 65% dry mass, virtually identical to mid-cut alfalfa hay. Ruminants respond differently. Goats devour it first, stripping regrowth before stems turn woody. Sheep follow, then cattle once line and climbs. Managed on a 45 to 60-day graze cycle, palatability stays high and regrowth snaps back fast. Tannins run 2 to 5%, but here's the trick most people miss. Once you sun-dry or ensil for even 24 hours, those tannins polymerize and lose activity, lifting protein digestibility by 10 to 12%. Harvest timing is everything. Cut at 50 to 60% pod fill for fresh forage, early flower for hay. That's where leaf-to-stem ratio and amino acid density peak. In a University of Queensland trial, goats on pigeon pea alone gained about 120 gr per day, matching medium-quality hay. And in parallel comparisons, pigeon pea hit about 21% CP and about 5.5 tons dry matter per acre on half the inputs and zero irrigation. You're not trading quality for resilience. You're getting both. Feed that holds its value under stress. Here's where pigeon pea stops being a forage and becomes a system. It thrives where other legumes fail. On acidic, sandy, or depleted soils where nodulation bacteria still struggle. Its 4 to 8 month cycle makes it flexible. Annual in cooler zones, biennial or short-lived perennial in the subtropics. For agroforestry and silvopasture, it's ideal. It tolerates 40% shade, grows between orchard rows or beneath open canopies, and the deep root channels improve water infiltration for the overstory. It's dual use, leafy forage for ruminants now, plus a grain option for poultry or sale later. After harvest, stems lignify into carbon-rich mulch that suppresses weeds and rebuilds structure faster than soft legume residues. In the dry tropics, it's intercropped with sorghum, millet, or cassava to stabilize yields. Sorghum shades young pigeon pea early. Then pigeon pea repays the favor by fixing nitrogen for the next cereal cycle. Over 5 years of ICRISAT data, sorghum pigeon pea rotations increased total grain yield by 28% and raised top 6-inch soil organic carbon by 0.3%, a rare double gain in yield and soil metrics. That's not a rotation gap filler. It's a regenerative hinge crop, feed, fertility, and resilience in one package. For regenerative systems, pigeon pea isn't just a soil crop. It's an economic shock absorber. In semi-arid zones under 25 inches of rainfall, average dry matter yields hit 2 to 4 tons per acre. In humid or well-managed systems above 35 inches, yields climb to 5 to 7 tons per acre, on par with fertilized alfalfa, but at a fraction of the cost. Each acre produces 400 to 1,200 pounds of seed, depending on variety and climate. Those seeds test at 22 to 24% protein, making them usable as on-farm poultry feed or sold as a grain legume, a built-in diversification stream most forages can't offer. When you calculate feed replacement value, protein per acre, times digestibility, pigeon pea equals $300 to $450 of feed value per acre, rivaling high-quality alfalfa or purchased grain protein. And unlike those inputs, it requires no nitrogen fertilizer, no irrigation after establishment, and almost zero pest management once the canopy closes. Coppicing, cutting plants back after harvest to regrow from the base, reduces replanting costs by 60 to 80% over 3 years, giving you perennial returns from a one-time seed investment. In Andhra Pradesh, mixed dairies feeding pigeon pea leaves at 20% of dry matter intake cut their purchased concentrate feed by 35%, without any drop in milk yield. That savings averaged $120 per cow per season, small margins that add up fast across a herd. The math is simple but transformative. Feed, fertility, and structure, all returning compounding value without external input costs. This plant was built for heat. Pigeon pea thrives in zones 8 through 13, with optimal growth between 75 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit and tolerance up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Before photosynthesis begins to slow, frost top kills stems. But in zones 8 to 9, the woody base resprouts, giving you multi-year feed without replanting. In drier regions, it maintains full leaf cover with as little as 20 inches of annual rainfall, and in the humid tropics, it stays productive up to 70 inches, thanks to a root system that regulates both drought and waterlogging. That deep taproot and lignified stem structure aren't just survival traits, they're efficiency mechanisms. By reducing evapotranspiration 25 to 30% compared to shallow-rooted legumes, pigeon pea maintains cooler leaf temperatures and steadier biomass accumulation during drought. Even on marginal, acidic, or compacted soils, it performs. In degraded pastures where grasses fail, it creates infiltration channels, raises surface organic matter, and feeds biology from below. In Kenya, trials on severely eroded land found pigeon pea restored 0.3% soil organic carbon in just 2 years, the equivalent of 5 years of natural fallow recovery. That's the kind of regeneration curve that turns poor ground back into productive acreage. By combining yield stability, drought performance, and multi-year fertility gains, pigeon pea isn't just climate resilient, it's climate profitable. Every regenerative system needs a crop that gives more than it takes, and pigeon pea checks nearly every box. Its nitrogen fixation doesn't just feed itself, it shares with neighbors. Stands commonly contribute about 100 to 200 pounds of nitrogen per acre per year, acting like a slow-release, biologically timed fertilizer. The shade canopy and consistent leaf litter moderate surface temperature, reduce evaporation, and stabilize the microclimate underneath. Unlike clover or vetch, pigeon pea's leaf litter decomposes slowly, 8 to 10 months, steadily releasing nutrients instead of flushing them all at once. That makes it a natural nutrient bank, keeping nitrogen and potassium available well into the following crop season. Root channels left behind by the main taproot drastically improve infiltration, turning crusted, compacted soils into sponge-like layers that hold rain instead of shedding it. As an understory companion, pigeon pea pairs seamlessly with bananas, papayas, moringa, and citrus, where it shelters young trees, builds soil, and eventually yields biomass for mulch or animal feed. Farmers who graze pigeon pea paddocks report visible soil transformation in just 1 to 2 years. Deeper color, richer aggregation, and faster infiltration after storms. This isn't a cover crop in the traditional sense, it's a regenerative scaffold. It holds your system together while the biology rebuilds. Every powerhouse crop has trade-offs, and pigeon pea is no exception. First, frost. The plant shuts down completely below freezing, so it's not suited for harsh winters. In zones 8 and warmer, the base resprouts, but in colder climates, treat it as an annual. Second, woody stems. After flowering, the stalks lignify fast. The solution? Harvest or graze early, or coppice to force soft regrowth. Coppiced plants produce fresh foliage in 30 to 45 days and stay palatable much longer. Third, microbial partnerships. For full nitrogen fixation, sterile soils may need inoculation with the Rhizobium strain IC3125, originally isolated in southern Asia and Africa, but available through global inoculant suppliers. Without it, you'll get growth but limited N fixation. Pests can appear, mainly pod borers and aphids, but integrated grazing or interplanting with lemongrass or basil repels most naturally. Avoid chemical controls. Pigeon pea's ecosystem thrives on predator-prey balance. Weediness can be a factor in unmanaged systems, especially after seed drop, but rotational grazing or managed coppicing prevents reseeding dominance and keeps stands productive. And finally, overgrazing young regrowth shortens stand life. Wait until stems hit pencil thickness before putting livestock back on. That's the difference between a 3-year stand and a 1-year burnout. Managed right, pigeon pea becomes a living feed bank. Managed wrong, it turns into woody brush. Same plant, 2 outcomes. Globally, pigeon pea is shifting from a food legume to what the FAO and CGIAR now call a dual-purpose climate forage. Its role isn't just feed, it's climate stability in plant form. Seed distribution networks are already expanding. Tropical research stations in Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Florida, along with regenerative co-ops in Texas and the Carolinas, are multiplying regionally adapted varieties for forage and alley cropping use. Interest in the southern U.S. is climbing fast. Texas A&M, Florida, and several regenerative networks are testing pigeon pea as a pasture drought stabilizer, a replacement for failing summer legumes like cowpea and sun hemp. Most promising U.S. niche, soy-free poultry feed plus soil-restoring cover, one crop serving both markets. University of Florida trials showed that pigeon pea intercropped with bahia grass increased total protein yield by 27%, while also improving ground cover through the dry season. That kind of synergy, higher protein, lower input, is what defines next-generation forage systems. This is where the future of regenerative livestock starts, plants that feed both the herd and the land, even under heat, drought, and economic pressure. If alfalfa struggles on your land, pigeon pea might be the legume that feeds your animals and your soil. Would you test pigeon pea on your farm, or are you already growing it? Drop your results in the comments. Let's build a map of what's working in every zone. And if you want more systems that actually produce, not just theory, subscribe. We break down regenerative methods that prove themselves in the field.